you guys were just in Mexico City for one of the World Championships there. So first of all, how's Mexico City?
It was so warm. It wasn't
Really?
the nicest to me because I got a kick-ass sunburn on the first day, which led to like heat exhaustion. And at the same time, I got food poisoning. So,
Oh my gosh.
but hey, I'm alive.
Hey guys, Alexa Vasco here, one of AHA's women's advisors. I am joined with Shawlee, who is AHA's lead women's advisor. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. How's the weather in Iceland today?
Honestly, it's today was pretty warm and windy and rainy and humid, so it's a nice flip-flop from what the usual was.
Is it super rainy there always?
I think so. I haven't spent the full summer here yet, but I think so. It's pretty.
It was beautiful in Montreal this weekend.
Yeah, you look a little tan.
No, I did not come back from Cuba. So we're here to talk about your hockey career, living in Iceland, the World Championships that you were a part of with Team Iceland. We'll talk about that later. But first, we're going to start off with how did you get into playing hockey and how did you become a goalie?
Yeah. Okay. So I guess my history is kind of the same as yours. Like my parents just threw me in there because my dad was a pretty big hockey player, and he's like, "Yep, you're also going to play." So I said, "Okay." I started in novice, which I guess is pretty late for Canadians. I'm not sure. Second year novice. I was 8 or 9. But anyways, I hated it. I did
You
the
hated
first
it?
tryouts and left the ice crying, saying I never want to do this again. But my dad was like, "No, you need to try it out." So yeah, so I played 2 years as like a defense or whatever. And then one time we were playing a game, and this is how I got into being a goalie. We were playing a game, and then I guess I was trying to play my defensive position, but someone shot it, went down in a butterfly, and made a blocker save. So then my parents were like, "Oh shit."
You did that as a defenseman?
I did that as a defenseman. Yes.
Okay.
And another thing that I can remember is, in like novice or in the young age, everybody rotates as a goalie.
Mm.
My dad was a head coach, and I guess that was a perk because we got to play at the what's it called, the Canadian Tire Center now in Ottawa, just for like
Okay, I've been there.
one game. And we played against this really very good team. And so I went as a goalie, and I think we ended up losing like 10-0. So my parents were hoping that would be super deceiving for me to be a goalie. But I came out with the biggest smile on my face and told them I loved it. So they were SOL for me not being a goalie.
You got the goalie bug from losing 10-1.
Yep. And I'll tell you another story later about when I played Lady Sens about just refueling that goalie bug after losing.
Oh my gosh. No, you talk about rotating goalies. We did that when I was playing minor hockey. I think I was Tyke, and I played one game goalie, and they scored 4 goals on me, and that was enough. I was never goalie again.
I mean,
Never.
it takes a special kind of person, I guess.
It does, and we'll get into that later, but some of my friends who are goalies, I love them, but they're goalies. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
we'll talk about that later,
yeah.
but it's crazy. It's crazy to me.
But yeah, no, that's pretty much how I got into it and how I got to be a goalie. I also thought that, the equipment's pretty cool. So
it is pretty cool. Very, very cool. It's expensive though.
Oh yeah, I heard some.
Your parents. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking to buy some new gloves right now. So I'm like asking the club, like, "Hey, how much can you cover for it?" Because I don't want to pay all of it on my own.
Oh, that's funny. Now you mentioned playing for the Lady Sens, and you started a novice, which you said 8 or 9, which that's relatively a bit late for, because I know I started at 5 or 6. I was just thrown out there. But going through your minor hockey career, you started at 8 or 9, and then going on playing juniors in the PWHL, which I actually played in as well, but we didn't play at the same time. I played for Stony Creek. You played for the Ottawa Lady Sens. So how was that, just coming up through the ranks, playing your minor hockey there?
Like I joined Hockey League, and I also joined like the junior league, PWHL Super League too, because my whole hockey career I played B level. Little backstory: when in my first year of under 18, our local association decided to have an A team, even though it was the worst idea ever. And I tried out for it, and because of politics and nepotism and all that stuff, I didn't end up making the A team. So I played B team, which was fun. And then when tryouts came, I was like, yeah, my dad's like, "You're too good to be playing B." I'm like, thank you. But no, he was like, let's go try out for some local AA teams. So I tried out for, I think, Cornwall, Lady Sens, and well, I can't remember. So I ended up making all of the teams that I tried out for. So I ended up making the U18 AA team for Lady Sens, which was
Okay.
it was kind of a little punch in the face of my hometown association. Be like, you're gonna come from A, watch me make AA. So yeah, I made the U18 Lady Sens, which that was a goal. I didn't want to make the PW team because I knew that was reaching too far. We had first weekend or something that we started the season, we went to Naha, the tournament. We ended up not doing good because we were not good. But I guess I did something good because after the tournament, they called my parents and they called me. They were like, "Hey, we want you to join like the PWHA, the PW team because we didn't know who you were before, so we just want to see how you were playing, blah blah blah." And I was like, "No, like, okay, like obviously at that young age, the higher the level, the scarier the girls are, right?"
Mhm,
I was
for
like,
sure.
kind of terrified of them. So I was like, no, I don't want to go. I just made these friends. I don't want to go. So I ended up being pushed and I went. So that's pretty much how like I made the PWHL team.
So basically, you got cut, made another team. They saw you play. They said, "Hey, we want you back."
Yep, we want you on this higher team. So when I learned that and when the people back home learned that, it was a very nice feeling for me. Like, hey, cut me from midget A, but let me go make like a provincial league.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How was your experience playing for that team after, like, going back on it?
I had never like practiced with them or anything before, like only for tryouts. So it was scary at first.
Yeah.
But then like you get used to the level and you get to know the girls and stuff and it was pretty fun. I'd say I made some really good friends that I'm still friends with today. It was good.
Yeah, that's awesome. I always remember sometimes getting called up, and I was always like younger, and people are older, and I think it was a big culture shock for me as well because
Yeah.
I was so nervous. So,
But then you think about it, they're just, also girls, also humans, and it's just a little better hockey. That's it.
yeah,
But yeah.
it's crazy. It's a bit silly when you think back
Yeah.
on it. And now speaking about playing with older girls and at the next level, let's talk about your stint, your little adventure at Laurentian University. If you want to expand on that.
Yeah. So yeah, playing for Sens, everything was new to me. Like the whole scouting, the whole NCAA U Sport, everything was new to me because playing B my whole life, you don't talk about that because there's no way. Um, so it was new. So I didn't know how the whole process was working. So whatever, I just went to Laurentian because I had the program I wanted to study. And I messaged the coach like, "Hey, do you need goalies? Blah blah blah." They're like, she said, "No, we have two, but you can do a walk-on tryout to be our third." And I was like, "All right, that's cool." So I did that. Went to Laurentian, did the whole walk-on tryout, everything, blah blah blah. It was just me and this another goalie from back home. Anyways, so I ended up making the team as like a third goalie, but then I didn't like the vibe. Felt like I was too busy, overwhelmed with the whole scheduling and everything. So after 2 weeks, I just decided to quit and play intramurals with boys that had played like junior A and a bunch of different types of people. So, and that was much more fun. That's my stint at Laurentian.
Would you have any advice to young girls and even young boys for trying to achieve that balance if they do want to play collegiately and balance social life and academics?
I mean, looking back, I kind of regret quitting just because, I think playing at like a university level is very special and something that not everyone can do. But yeah, I mean, I guess my answer is going to be the same as everyone else that we've asked. Just time management is going to be super important and prioritizing things in life. Like, for example, like obviously school comes first and they all understand that. But then you'd have to do some sacrifices, so many sacrifices. And yeah, I honestly just prioritizing everything and just coming in with expectations that it's going to be hard.
Yeah, makes sense. It's difficult, but it definitely can be done. It's well worth it. So
it's a hard truth, but
yeah, it's true. Now you played intramurals, so you've gone from playing intramurals and now you are playing in Iceland. What city are you in?
I have a hard time rolling my R's. So it's called Akureyri. It's in the north. It's about like 5-6 hour drive up north from Reykjavik, which is the capital city.
Okay. How long is the flight from? Do you fly out of Ottawa?
Nay, no, nay. Icelandic is gonna come out. No, so I'll fly out from Toronto, and that's about
Okay.
5.5 hour flight. And we don't have any time, like not time changes, but what's it called in the spring, forward, fall back?
Like
Daylight savings.
daylight
So
savings. Yep.
there's none of that here. So sometimes we'll be 4 hour difference with back home, sometimes we'll be five in the winter.
I had no idea. That is so interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. So I mean,
Wow.
it gets dark, but time stays the same.
Huh.
I mean, yeah.
Wow. Learn something new every day. There's no daylight savings in Iceland. Huh.
Nope.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're playing in Iceland. Is there any noticeable differences from playing hockey in Iceland to playing in Canada a few years back?
Oh, yes. I mean, yeah, it's the level of hockey is completely different. I mean, obviously it's not as good as, Team Canada or the PWHPA or anywhere near that. But I would say it's probably equivalent to the PWHL. I think it'd probably
Did
be
you really?
junior double A. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd be a good competition to some of the teams. But
Are
yeah,
there any other
um,
differences?
it's really different because like in the teams, our youngest player is 14 and our oldest one is probably in closing in on her 40s.
Wow, I didn't know there was such a gap like that.
Yeah, and that's European hockey, I guess. Well, it's also just like a small town and it's not like it's Toronto, right? Like there's not a lot of,
Mhm.
so yeah, that's very interesting. It was surprising to me when I got here, but everyone's
Is the
pretty cool.
style of play any different? Like,
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't listen to coaches when they talk about strategies and tactics and everything, but I think so. I think it's a little different. But I'm sorry, I just can't answer that question because I don't listen.
you just worry about stopping the puck.
Or I'll stop the pucks, I'll put them somewhere, and then I'll take a break.
Now, getting on the topic of playing in Iceland, you were a goalie coach for Team Iceland,
Yeah.
correct?
So
And
I also
Monrovia.
goalie coach and coach also along with that playing. But yeah, I was the goalie coach for the national team.
Yeah, and you guys were just in Mexico City for one of the World Championships there. So, first of all, how's Mexico City?
It was so warm. It
Really?
wasn't the nicest to me because I got a kick-ass sunburn on the first day, which led to like heat exhaustion. And at the same time, I got food poisoning. So lost a couple pounds, which was
You got it like double whammy of sunburn and food poisoning.
the whole shabam.
What do you know what it was from?
I think it was a chicken salad because a bunch of people after we went to that restaurant place, whatever, got sick.
Oh, so a bunch of you got it.
Yeah, I could say like a handful. So it was interesting.
Oh my gosh.
But hey, I'm alive.
Yeah, alive and well.
But yeah,
Now,
Mexico, it was
what
fun.
was the
It
is
was
there any different from transitioning from being a goalie to being a coach, a goalie coach?
I don't think there's that big of a difference because I've always been a goalie coach. But I think the biggest thing was that I now am staff coach with the girls that I play with and against. So I had to coach the two goalies on the team. I played against them. So it was a little weird at the start coaching them because I'm like, I want you to do good on this team, but I don't want you to take it back to your other team and be better just because I want to win. But no, it
Okay,
was
that's
weird. But I mean, they were open to learning just because, I'm Canadian and I know my stuff and I've proved it in playoffs that I know what I'm doing. So they were mostly open to criticism, constructive criticism anyways.
interesting.
But no, it was good. It was good. We got along. I got along very well with everybody and it was fun. It was really fun.
You didn't throw in some sabotage in there so they could bring that back to their old team.
No, but I should have. But it was hard to coaching because in Mexico you're at like over 2,000 feet of elevation. So like breathing
Okay.
was very hard. And so, well, I didn't really feel it because I wasn't working hard, but I was making the goalies go a little hard and they were dying. I was like, maybe we should maybe calm down a little bit. Just seeing them get crushed by like the lack of oxygen.
Yeah, that's
And
that's
not
crazy how much it can make a difference, really.
oh, it's insane. I did a couple workouts and I was like, I can't breathe. Like one girl needed an oxygen mask on the bench.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, but some girls I think they measured like their oxygen levels and it was at like in the 70s
Oh,
is very low. So like our team trainer was like, let me go get the oxygen tank.
Jesus. That's kind of scary.
Kind of, but I mean, it's scary, but at the same time, it's like, oh, cool. I didn't know that could happen.
So you showed a bunch of us the pictures of the ice from Mexico City. It was melting a bit. It's kind of unsafe if you ask me.
Oh, it was
But
brutal.
yeah, like the one corner, it was like kind of a slant a bit.
Oh, yeah, like you have the boards here, and then this is the ice. Like I'm sure this one girl like twisted her ankle on like a Chinese team. I could just be standing up against the boards and I'd be gliding towards the middle. Like everything was slanted. The Zamboni was like 100 years old. It wasn't even flooding, it was just taking the snow off.
It was a scraper, basically.
Pretty much with like a sprinkle of water. Like you could stand on the red line and there's like a little divot. Like people are just could break their ankles left and right. And I think the funny thing is that the rink is getting torn down as we speak, pretty much. So 2 weeks later, the rink is done.
So did it not have to pass any IIHF safety standards before hosting this tournament?
So yeah, but the thing is that we were supposed to this actually really sucks and for like women in general, but like we were supposed to play at a much better rink where the men had their worlds a couple years ago.
Okay.
But women aren't allowed to play hockey at that rink, so they didn't want to host us.
Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah, it's just bonkers. Like yeah, even in like this day and age, like this stuff is still like happening. So yeah, so that's why
Wow.
we're put in that place. But yeah, basically there was like a meeting saying that we'll see how the games go, and if we can actually like if it's actually super detrimental to play, then we'll call it. Like we'll see a day or two and then we'll call it and then it just get canceled. And if someone gets hurt because of the ice, then we call it right away, which is kind of silly because why would you wait for someone to get hurt?
Exactly. Like there was no being proactive in that situation.
Yeah, no, and it's as if there were no standards. So that's a disappointing part to the IHF, but
Yeah. I mean, as much as sort of the gender gap is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, there's instances in that like that where the gender gap is still really, really big in women's hockey and a lot of sports. So that's a bit disappointing, not gonna lie to hear that.
yeah, it's a very disappointing wake-up call at the same time. And
Yeah.
it could be a cultural thing too, which whatever, but at the same time, like it's just upsetting. It's very upsetting.
For sure. Now, on a brighter note, are there any
Yeah.
other funny stories from Mexico City?
Do I ever have any? I have lots of funny stories from Mexico.
Appropriate
Um,
stories.
I mean, besides just the ice being kaput, I'll tell you two stories. The first one was we didn't win any games. But on our last game, we were playing against Chinese Taipei, which is like Taiwan, and we ended up going to shootouts,
Okay.
which was extremely stressful. Just in general, being a goalie and being a goalie coach, like it gives me the shivers. But anyways, we went, they went, we went, they went. Then our goalie comes to our bench and she's like, put in so and so, like put in this player, like she's good, she should go. And then I look at her, I look at the player that she mentions, the coach looks at the player she mentions, and she's like passed out on the bench, just like from all the stress and obviously the lack of oxygen. She's just like on the bench lying down like this. And me and the coach look at each other. We're just like, maybe we won't put her up there. I mean,
Was she actually passed out, or did she have her
no,
eyes
she was
closed?
just like so stressed and like with the lack of oxygen, she was just like, she just couldn't handle it. So like, it's not really funny, but it's funny now.
Was she okay?
Oh yeah, she was fine. Oh yeah, she was
Did
totally
she
fine.
shoot?
Nope. We were like, no, she can't go right now. But yeah, that was funny. And then the other story was after the whole tournament was over, our team and all the other teams, we went to the rooftop of the hotel and just had a little party and stuff just to celebrate the end. And everyone drank a little bit too much. And there's this like dance circle happening. And I'm with one of the goalies that I coach. And I'm like, hey, you should go in the circle and do the worm. And she's like, yeah, I'll do it. So she goes in, does the worm, comes out, and she's like, Shawlee, I think I really bumped my chin. I'm like, oh, that really sucks. It's too bad. And then she goes to do the worm again, whatever. And then the next day, hanging out in the lobby, waiting to go for like breakfast or something. And then she comes down and she has the biggest bruise on her chin. It's like borderline, it's purple and black and blue and all of that. I didn't see it at first, but as soon as I saw her and I saw the bruise, I just started dying laughing because I knew she was like, man, my chin really hurts. My chin really, really hurts, like on the previous night. Like, yeah, that sucks. That's what happens when you do the worm. And so I started laughing at her and she's like, I told you I hit my chin. So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how
And
it
you're
looks
like,
like today, but
that's what you get for being goalie for a different team.
That was my sabotage.
That is hilarious. Now, being a goalie, like I said, I have a lot of goalie friends, and I love them. I love them to death, but they got some weird quirks about them as a goalie. Or if you know any other goalies that have weird superstitions or anything that they do you have any weird things that you do before a game?
I honestly like to think of myself as like one of the most normal goalies.
That's what everyone says.
A lot of people would disagree with me. Oh, okay. But like I've seen some goalies, I've met some goalies that I'm like, you are probably an alien right now just because of how weird you are. So I like to think of myself as very normal, but for like, I don't necessarily have superstitions. I don't like to call them superstitions. I call it routine. So I have my routine, like let's say for a big game, everybody will play like 2-touch with a soccer ball and everything, keep it in the air. And I can't do it just because I have to focus, but I really want to. So I'll do that. And then I won't talk to anybody after warm up. I'll just get dressed, normally dressed. And if people try talking to me, I'm just going to be like, don't talk to me. I don't really have any superstitions that I can think of.
You're one of those goalies that says, don't talk to me. I know a couple of those.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any, don't talk to me because I have to get my head in the game. But no, I don't have any superstitions that I can think of.
You have headphones in when you say don't talk to me, or you're just saying don't talk to me?
No, I'll just stare at the floor and just try to think. It's a routine thing. I'll do the same thing. Like after on ice warm up, gotta eat a banana. And then after the first and the second period, I will have half a pouch of applesauce. Like, I don't know. It's normal things.
To each their own. Honestly, are they go-go squeezes?
I don't think they have go-go squeezes here.
Oh, true.
So it's like, it's baby food, okay?
Yeah, I do like the pouch. I have that. I do like the pouch applesauce.
Yeah. But other than that, I don't have superstitions. Like it just gotta everything has to be.
You named a couple. You named a couple.
It's a routine, okay?
Well, to each their own. To each their own.
I'm not like Stefano.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
I love him. I was at university with him for either 3 or 4 years, and I just remember he had a lot of things.
I have things about him too. And I think there's a video on him he has his own podcast here with us, but this guy is very weird.
Yeah. Good guy. Just got a lot of routines or superstitions to
you get it.
Check off. Now to wrap it up here, being a goalie, do you have any advice for young goalies sort of going through the minor hockey ranks who want to get to that next level of playing hockey?
I think, yeah, as much as it's for goalies, I think it's also for like anyone. And it's very cliche, but like I kind of live my life by it. It's just like everything happens for a reason. And let's say your goal is to play abroad or professionally or whatever, it might not be meant to happen now. Just like for me, like I'm old to be playing at this level, and it just happened to me. Like everything happens for a reason, and if it's meant to be, like it's gonna happen. But yeah, if it's really something you want to do, like you can't give up on it. So you just gotta push, be determined. Yeah, hard work pays off. Like
that's a cliche too, but it really does.
I mean, I guess it's a cliche for a reason, but hard work pays off. Everything happens for a reason. Life is weird. Sometimes you just gotta go with it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Very hippie-esque, but I mean, it is.
No, it's true. Especially listening to your story, getting cut, making another team, getting a call back from that team, playing intramurals, now playing in Iceland.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, I don't think I'd be where I am today if all of that stuff didn't happen.
Yeah, so, no, for sure.
Yeah, just to say like don't quit and stuff. It's kind of like do as I say, not as I do. But last season, after playing like senior B and just having the worst time ever, because it was like a mix of house league players and etc., I was ready to like hang up my skates and didn't just like completely quit coaching and all that stuff, just advise and stuff. But then my hockey club here reached out to AHA looking for a female goalie. And then jokingly, I gave my name. And then one thing led to another. I got along with everyone I had a call with, and now I'm here and re-signed for next year. So,
Oh, wow. Congrats.
thank you.
Wow. That's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, don't give up on your dreams because you never know what's going to happen. And also,
For
like,
sure.
I think another thing too is just to be nice with everybody in the hockey community because it is so small and a lot of people know a bunch of people and you never really know who can take you where.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Being humble and kind. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining the podcast today, and sharing your story. Some of the
Yeah,
things
it was nice to have it's a little weird to have the roles reversed.
Yeah. Some of the things I didn't know about, to be honest, before recording this, but thank you for sharing your story and some of the funny moments from Mexico City, and enjoy the weather in Iceland.
Thank you.
I think it's the same here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming back in less than 3 weeks, so let's hope that the weather is also nice back home. So
yeah, hopefully it's a bit, looking out the window, yeah, it's cloudy, but fingers crossed.
No, no more snow.
No, it's all melted, so hopefully it doesn't come back.
Yeah, here too. It's all gone. It's very humid for once, but I hope it doesn't come back. Oh my God.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Well, again, thank you again, and I will see you later.
Yeah, well, thank you for interviewing me, and this was really fun.
No problem. See you later.